Welcome back to the PGL RMR. We're here in Group B of Europe, and we're heading into our third best of one of the day. We have now got players entering the arena, Chad. One of the big names coming into this side of the group, and they're going up against Sangal.
Yeah, and normally with players, I would say they play to the level of their opponent because they like to grind out their matches, a little bit like outsiders do. But I think in this one, because Sangal have this stand-in factor going on of the coach having to play, this should really just be players winning this. There shouldn't be any conversation. I know at the start of the day, the desk was saying similar scenes about the G2 matchup against Anonymous. Shouldn't be anything going on there. No 40% loss business going on. But quite seriously, with this matchup, with a standard coming in and already being an underdog team, what is going to have to happen here? I feel like the players would really have to drop the ball here to lose a matchup like this. Now, I think that it is unfortunate when you're playing in this cycle and you have to use a standard. I think they're hoping to still try and get him out in time, the player that they are missing over there for Sangal. But yeah, I don't know. This one's going to be really hard to call.
Yeah, I think coming into this, I was a little worried at the start because I know that you look at players. There were a team I got to see at LAN against at V4 Festival in November, and it was a LAN tournament where they played against teams that were 100th ranked in the world, and they still would lose series and maps and play it close. This isn't a team that always win clinically, but we'll see if they're able to get it done. Let's introduce players for their matchup. Yeah, great to see the players touch down in Bucharest. Notice a Spirited Away tattoo on Daphne's arm as well. Good fan of that one. But we are looking forward to seeing how this team are going to perform. Everybody knows these players, Chad. They really need no introduction.
Yeah, look, these guys obviously came to power during the online era, but now have been fighting to try and battle off that online tag that people still want to throw at them. But this team clearly can perform on LAN, right? It's now about them having that killer instinct, having the individual step up in those close matches to get them across the line here. Shiro on the screen. Very, very good AWP player for this unit. And look, I think everybody is not super disappointed, only in the naming of the team. I think a lot of people want to know why it's not Nafati's anime squad. But players have a nice little P, so we'll see how that goes.
It's really easy. It's players. That's it. But their opponent on the other side of it's not. It's really, really not. But on the other side of things, Sangal, their opponents coming into this matchup, and we talk about the Sangal team, Chad, and we think about this roster as significant underdogs. When it comes to the matchup against players, you just look at the disparity. Look how many players are in the top 20 of this side.
Yeah, I think this matchup is... I don't even know where to start. Like, you look at the names in the team. Soulfly is the individuals who's missing here for them. They've got QB, Corey, Sensei, and Skrunk. And Skrunk is probably one of the names here which I'm most familiar with. And he's been playing for a very, very long time in this team. So it's hard to really put your finger on them being a threat against a team like players who are household names.
Well, let's introduce them. Let's put some faces to those names that you just mentioned of Sangal. Well, Sangal playing with a stand-in today. Difficult matchup in their opening best of one, but looking to do their nation proud as they start here. We have seen upsets, but this one's going to be difficult. They're playing against one of the best teams in the world. We'll talk about some of the players we know on this roster, but we'll get into that in just a little bit because here comes the map veto.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? Where are you meant to take this? What are you going to throw against players? They're going to remove Inferno, which could occasionally be a bit of a weakness for them first, but as we know, the bans are going to come in thick and fast. Ancient removed as well. The three map choices to go on out from Sangal. Dust 2 will be the first. This is where, do we end up on a Mirage, right? Is this where we're really going to find ourselves here today? Vertigo's gone 2, so leaving ourselves with Overpass, Mirage, and Nuke in the mix. And we know, well, players don't play Nuke, so they're going to remove Nuke here as the final map. They was actually very smart within this veto, so it is going to end up on, of course, Overpass here.
That's a great map.
Well, they get to start. They have to start on the T side. So if I'm looking for at least a positive for Sangal, which is all I feel like I'm going to be doing throughout this series, is looking for whatever positive signs we can see for Sangal. Because as Kasab would say, this is a bit of a David versus Goliath matchup here. I have a hard time with the fact that they're hamstrung by this standard situation of the coach to see them being able to push the issue here.
Well, excitement is a great motivator, and I'm sure they're very excited to be here playing against one of the best teams in the world. Hopefully the hype can carry them through for a few rounds and they get off to a good start with a pistol, etc. Maybe we can see a competition started with players starting slow. But we look at the team, we got Groove behind them as well, essential to their success. Groove coming into the team, they want to stick with him as long as possible. And Nafny at the helm in the calling game. I love to see Nafny getting fired up, but if players get off to a good start, he can often have that effect on them as well. So it's overpass, a comfortable affair for players, a map they're not going to feel too stressed out about. And Shiro, well, we haven't even got into that. He can pick them apart one by one, I reckon.
Yeah, and this is the type of matchup where you don't need a closer for players, I don't think, right? They should be able to get it done by playing by the book, and as those rounds start to tally on up, they can... Well, that's when they can take a couple more risks, right? So let's take a bit of a gander here and see how this one kicks on off. It's very hard to see how this one goes down, but Sensei's going to take a fight early, get run down, well, very quickly here, and caught by the Glocks, just rooted to the ground. Inters will take him out. Corey with a chance here. A couple of shots floating on by, and, well, speaking of floating on by, they're just going to leave him for Shiro.
Well, Shiro begins a tap away. Commitment back in here, running through it is QB going down, no problem. And Hobbit collecting that first. Hugok's coming back up. Axel's going to swing in towards buying his first kill collected alongside Enters. There's not really a problem here in the pistol. Corey will try his best on the way out the door. Does get at least one to prevent the clean sheet, but players with the T-sided pistol looking to get the job done.
Yeah, I think that that right there just shows you how quick and fast in the face that their players can be, right? Traditionally, we're used to them playing nice and slow Counter-Strike here, but in the pistol round, just taking the fight to them.
I think that'll be the statement of intent moving forward. Inters against this level can also be very fun to watch. He has great mechanical aim Inter, so the level of opponent drops a bit. He gets freed up a bit more too. Excited to see how he'll perform today.
This is going to be a force play out here from Sangal.
Yeah, it is going to have a bit of resistance to it. We'll see if players can survive the scare of the force. If they do, then they should be off to a pretty good start at 3. Hobbit immediately takes out Corey. The fight towards Divider. Actually, Nafny taking a good bit of damage. He's down to 10 HP. Shiro charging in with a Galil. Gets the kill in play for players. And Sensei now blinded, forced away from the angle.
Looks like they want to condition this A site early. 2 consecutive rounds. Spotted on the jump right there is Sensei's scout. He does get another tag on a Hobbit. Make it a follow-up. Hobbit goes down, so a number drawn back here for Sangal.
Is there anything else left in the tank? Oh, pick up for Sensei. Shot does land, but no kill.
3 players are low, but oof, Axel's just walked into B here. The timing on this, the shot onto QB, and that's going to be the site given on over. The rotation can come back through, or they can just let Tugux, the coach of this one, having to stand on in, rotate out of play, out of position. The A bomb site has been given up and can't land the shots. Axel will take that one down, and Hobbit would be the only one to fall into the grave in round number 2. Now it'll be an eco coming in from Sangal. And if you're watching at home and you want to get involved in the social medias, maybe let us know how you're watching. Send us a bit of a tweet. Use the hashtag PGL RMR. We're going to be in Antwerp in a couple of weeks' time for the major. Did that B-Stream game end up finishing yet?
I think it's still going on, Chad. It looked like Sinners extended into the lead there on Vertigo.
Sinners won.
They've won the map now.
Another upset.
Okay. 16-11 win for the Sinners. And that was definitely a more contested matchup, I would say.
These 1-0 matches are going to be crazy.
We're going to have stacked games, right? It's in the losers games, man. They're going to be incredibly filled up. For players, I mean, this is actually a little bit of sweat off their brow, right? Because look at the matchup they got in front of them. There should be players cleaning this up. When you look at the likes of G2 going down early today, that's going to fill you with a bit of happiness, I think.
And now, like when we do talk about this in serious nature, right? The fact that we have had Entropic lose and G2 lose in the opening games, both of those teams would have been in conversation to potentially snatch up a 3-0 scoreline. Not possible anymore. They have to now, you know, at least battle back in the best of ones, get themselves in 1-1. The best they can do is a 3-1. So legend spots are going to be few and far between here. The only favorite teams who have kept themselves in contention for that so far, well, is NIP. Let's see if players, Astralis, Copenhagen, Flames, and I think Ents are favored over the side of Spirit. It's a new look Spirit roster as well.
Axel and Inters work in tandem to bring down the pistols. Nice and clean here for players as they go 3-0. For Sangal, it's a bye coming up. The first time we get to see them with a bye. We'll see what their CT side looks like. Sensei bringing out the AWP.
Well, this is where the real conversation begins, okay? Because if we've got 3 kills in 3 rounds. That's it for Sangal so far. From the CT side, they're able to at least go toe-to-toe and not just going to get owned by players who can, when they want, turn it up a gear and just show that they are individually very, very skilled. They don't always have to do it by the book. I think we saw that towards the tail end of the EPL groups from them.
There it goes in for Corey. Hobbit takes the brunt of it. In fact, Hobbit burns down. So the advantage picked up here for Sangal. Players accelerating. This is a quick look to the players. And it overwhelms Sensei. He's caught in the open, hung out to dry. They are going to keep applying pressure. Utility is immediately coming out of their hands. Just bombarding this A site with nades and now looking to try and crack open the remaining players that stand and defend. Corey getting checked in the gap. He thought he had the advantage there. I did too, but Axile and Nafany, they think better of it. And they've brought down every single player so far that they've seen. Smoke goes in again. QB held behind it. Oh, it takes a little bit of chip damage as well. This is looking very good for the players so far.
Might just be one body hitting the deck again here. That nade, not bad. Axile down to 20 points of health, but save is on the cards. And I don't think Shiro wants to allow this. Look at this. He's already cutting off rotations. If they do want to drop all the way back towards T-spawn, a position that they might think is a safe haven right now, they will have to go past the AWP. And this is where the problems have already started to come into fruition. You get that opening kill through the utility, and then you can't stop the bullets. They just keep on flying by. QB and Tugux trying to hold on to these M4s. Now, Shiro isn't going to push past the post here. He has the AWP. He doesn't want to give this one over. He's not going to give that up for free whatsoever. So, will be 2 players staying alive. And a 4-0 scoreline now for the players.
It's a good song by the Bee Gees.
Staying alive.
It's actually, if you ever have to do CPR, do it to the rhythm of that. That's a cool fact, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the chest compression tempo. I think it's 60 BPM. Not sure. There you go. Hopefully that helps someone. Sangal, 0 rounds yet to be posted. 2 players with rifles, pistols out across the board. And, yeah, I mean, we're talking about this matchup. It's one that needs to be played, but players, I love how we're seeing them approach this, right? They're just immediately running up through patterns, just not really slowing down, just trying to get through it, chopping down the defense as they go. And Sangal are going to have to deal with a different pace change that we're not really used to seeing from players. It's a different, confident, and a clinical look from the players' side so far, and if that continues, that's exciting to watch.
It's a whole different caliber of teams here, isn't it? So I want to just have a look through players' history of matches, see if I can find that game I was talking about where they did just turn it into a bit of an aim map.
Haven't seen too much of Sangal. I think Corey in particular is the one player I've seen a little bit of, but the rest of the team, you don't really see this team often at all, Chad. And I think that's kind of the beauty of the RMR and the major system. It truly is a global event, right? You get teams from all over. We even had teams from Siberia coming in the other day in Group A of Europe. So, yeah, we've had a fair share of nationalities shown across the board.
Yeah, their wins to get here, they beat Tricked, right? I think that was one of their bigger victories to get them into the major. That was in the best of 3s, right? So it was a quarterfinal winner qualifiers for the RMRs. And the loser went down to the 5th place decider. Now, beating Tricked, right? Tricked is a name that we know tends to house a lot of talent over there within Denmark. We've gone 1 for 1 here. Tugux is making himself frag on the board. But it's maybe some lesser known names, because this Tricked roster was Prime, Iceberg, Larson, Quez, and Kia. So that was the team that they had to beat to get themselves to this point.
It's never easy to put away Danish players. So, team they have to put away in front of them. Now the team battering them and bullying them a little bit at the moment as players. Sensei, good kill there on the way out the door. He might actually find a better weapon to get out of this round with, and he will. AK, so it's not too bad at all. An AK into the next round, you will take that. Another one, an M4 picked up, and a kit on the way out here. So not too bad at all. 5-0 start though for players. They are going to need to see a great bit of resistance coming up for Sangal in this round. Otherwise, we are starting to see that story we expect to pan out unfold before our eyes.
Yeah, I think at least this is positive signs for players here. This was a similar conversation we've been having with a lot of the favorites. A few of them have tripped up. A few of them have allowed closer matches. A few of them have lost some matches. But you want to make sure that you can get through these type of environments as easy as possible. You want to make sure that you don't have to play extra best of threes. You don't get in those stressful situations like Outsiders were in yesterday, because I think in games like that, Outsiders are taking a couple years off their life when they do that time and time again. But this is a good showing so far, and they're setting up the quad boost here to get the little pick over towards Heaven. Shiro, the last man, the last piece of the puzzle with that AWP, up and over, and hoping to find them on the jump before the train ticket gets punched. And well, they're going to set up the triple boost. Now, this will be... will he catch the barrel? No, looks good in the hood.
Yeah, lucky that. They dismount the boost, and a bit of a quieter round for players as the slow start will now fizzle out. Start to stack their forces over towards the B side of things. And luckily for Sangal, this is the side of the map they've got pretty much everybody, and they're holding this triple boost. They're really holding it until the sided players walk into them.
Yeah, a bit of cheese here. But the problem is if they just walk through Monster and then they rip the head off of Sensei, then the three of them are going to be condemned there over towards Graffiti. So Sensei has to deliver something here.
Needs at least one, but look at the flash. It's so good and allows players all the ground, forces the AWP back into the water, and Axel removes his life. Shiro. Oh, they've seen so much here. They've just absolutely seen everything they need to, and all the kills have come in. It's, I mean, this defense doesn't really hold water. It's a flood of players coming through, and now it's Barbecue QB. He's out. So Corey, he's on the other side of the map, and even he looks like he's about to go down because Hobbit is quickly trying to find him. And, oh, nasty Hobbit goes down.
7 points of health remaining. Noted, but the Hunter's already coming. You can see these little orange dots quickly surging their way up connector. Shiro trying to cut him off with the pass, but Shiro might be the one to go down in the back line here. Corey tucked on in up towards the tree position. And, well, I think they are going to sniff him out here. Shiro sees the barrel and gets the kill with the Glock. So all good. Everybody from Sangal there wiped on out. 6-0 is the score, and I think the players are just going to run away with this one. Look at this. Just getting absolutely cooked over here. This is what I was saying. If Sensei goes down, he just got flashed. And then, look at all the nades, the flames, the flashes, everything dropping. QB, no way out, no way forward.
No problem here for the players so far, and it looks like a quicker play again coming in towards the B side of things. Sangal continue to have rifles in their hands, but it's fast. It's very fast here for players, and Nafny, he actually gets stopped. QB brings him down, so Nafny out, and that has actually stifled the play of players. They've decided, okay, we'll respect this B setup. We'll drop back into water instead, and might have a different reaction about them here.
The first time they've kind of had to change their approach.
Yeah, everything else is that you just hold W and kind of walk wherever you want.
Yeah, when Hobbit went down in that earlier piece towards A, they still continued forward towards the site and had no dramas, no qualms whatsoever. But now, one has been stalled out. Hello. Hello. I see an awful lot there, says Inter. Scrunk, dead meat, and 4-on-4 now established here.
Inter's yet to die, 7-0.
The Immortal.
Inter's the Immortal. I like that. Sounds like a gladiator name or something. Here they come. Straight through Monster. They're going to send two players out there. Shiro will clear out the barrels. Just being methodical with utility again, but Sensei, oh man, he's just getting flashed every single time. He's not really getting an opportunity to get away with a pick here. And that allows players onto the site to put the bomb down. 4v4. A chance still exists here for Sangal. Chuguk's forced forward by the molly. They're not watching for it. And he actually gets away with a chance. Oh, nearly doubles up. Chuguk goes down. 3v3. Or he comes back to help from Heaven. Flash, ooh, could set up the peak in towards Inters. They're not close enough to really capitalize upon that. So now just into the site. Time's ticking. Way over half now as players just hold. They've got such a good setup in the post plan that every fight can find an answer. Corey just dancing with death goes down to Hobbit. 7-0. There's a couple of funny talking points here with player names. You know, we talked about the lack of originality, Chad, with players. We have Nickelback plays for Entropic. Maui Snake was giving a little bit of tidbit out today. He's obviously over there enjoying his time talking to all the players. And a big question is always, does Nickelback actually like the band? He says he hates the band, and so therefore hates his own name. So sad for Nickelback.
Well, I can always change his name, I guess. Yeah. Or maybe you could find an appreciation for the music.
Yeah, just kind of force yourself to like Nickelback. You like Nickelback, Chad?
I can't even name your Nickelback song, but we're running into B, and this one here might be quick as well. Just these pistols over towards the pit, getting run on down. Nafany fast as you like. There's a few more to find. He's through. He's in the face. Scrunt gets something back, but they know that there's 2 more in there. Underarm of the nade. Some bowling coming out here from Hobbit.
And the 10 pins, or 5, really are Sangal. Might be a strike for the side of players here. 8 rounds in a row for players. Keeping it nice and clean, keeping it nice and clinical, and this is what you want to see from the players. Now, we talked about teams coming into this, maybe dropping the ball. Yeah, they haven't done that at all yet.
Don't think they're going to. This is already the half one. It is the T side of Overpass. It can be a difficult map to call on, but this is not the case whatsoever. You said Inters was 7-0 before. He's 9-0 now. just going to keep on going.
Unreasonable, really.
Yeah.
For Sangal, I mean, if you are just tuning in and wondering, who these guys are, they had to come through a weaker qualifier. They're going up against one of the best teams in the world. They're going to have better opportunities, perhaps. And the boost works out for Shiro. So they've done this a few times. I think that was the 3rd time they've run it. And finally, they get something from it. Corey tries to pull back some control, ends up just walking into Hobbit's crosshair. And players now with a 2-man advantage.
This is the level of class you'd be expecting from a lot of the top teams, right? But you haven't gotten it from all the top teams. So it is nice to see. It's just hard to get excited about this when the game is already over. The scoreline is about to be 9-0. It's just... it doesn't even need to be... I don't know how to highlight it any more so than the gameplay in front of you here, right? If they had their full 5, there would be such a better opportunity to have a conversation about an upset. But when you have your coach standing in, what are you meant to do as your coach, right? Like, there's a lot of coaches who aren't super active in terms of playing, and even if they are or once were, right, you're not going to be, you shouldn't be at the level of a player who is contending.
It's worrying if you are.
Exactly, right? Maybe then you should still be in the server. So it's so hard to have any expectations for this. And the first 9 rounds of play, I know that it only says 8 on the board, but this one is already done. It is a 5-on-2. Doesn't fill you with any hope for anything. And I don't want you to say it, Dinko. I know you're thinking it, and I know the viewers at home are thinking it, but I don't want any of you to type it in chat. I don't want you to say it, Dinko, until it's done. Nobody say it. If anybody says it, you'll ruin it. It's like a birthday wish.
My lips are zipped closed when it comes to that one phrase, Chad.
Nobody say it.
Can I talk about Inters?
You can talk about Inters.
Yeah, he hasn't died yet. There we go. Got that little bit of power out the way. Chugux, he's actually up there on the top of the board now with his kill count. There we go. Had a little trip over to see what the players were, what life they were living yesterday, Chad.
Pretty bougie, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty bougie, living the life over there.
Getting looked out in that 5-star hotel.
They have a Louis Vuitton store in the hotel. Now, I've never seen that before.
Hopefully they're focusing on playing and not shopping.
I'm sure. I mean, not much going on here for the players, just nice little black shirts. I actually quite like that jersey. It's quite nice. There's nothing going on. It's clean. It's simple. Just like the Counter-Strike they're playing right now. And Sangal, I think at this point, are just discussing how do we get a couple rounds? How do we compete? How do we get into this? A timeout. You don't want to get blown out of the water, right? You want to try and show something. You're capable Counter-Strike players. You've shown that before. And this would be a real shame if this is the way it continues. So they would love to try and get a few rounds, get a bit of a foothold into this, get a touch of the ball here when they come to land, not go down completely to players. But systematic destruction at the moment, just very clean stuff from the players. If you had to make a team name now, chat, what would you call your team?
Not players. I like Scrawny's suggestion with the Outsiders name of Overtimers.
That's a good one.
I think that's a great suggestion from Connor on that one. I don't know. I would like. I've seen a lot of good suggestions on Reddit and HLTV for people thinking of names for players, like Hobbit and the Fellowship of the Ring.
I love that one.
So they could do a lot with that there. I think I liked Nafany's anime squad. I thought that was a good one right there. I thought that could have been a bit of fun. But yeah, just a P.
The logo's kind of cool though.
I heard that they wanted to go by youngsters, but
yeah, I heard that one too. So that would have been cool.
Yeah, maybe a little bit close to home, I think, with that one.
They're too old now.
Yeah. Oh, look, you can only be young for so long.
All right, Chugux. Johnny's got a bit of the D. And that's about it. So it gets taken down through the wall. Corey in the house. Do you watch that show, Chad? Corey in the house? Was that a thing you watched?
I think I was a little bit old.
Probably.
Yeah, I think that's definitely not of my generation.
Well, that's a bit unfortunate.
Will Inters die? That's the question here on everybody's lips.
They've got max money now too, so there's a lot going on. Inter's 49 HP, close to death. Imagine going clean without dying in the game. Now that would be interesting.
We've had that conversation a couple times in recent history, I think, but then every time we talk about it, they tend to die in a round or two after. Now, Inters, we've mentioned it 4 or 5 rounds consecutively here, and he hasn't gone down. So
he's got the power.
Yeah, and he was, you know, because he's throwing a few more flashes, he's doing a bit more of the supportive business there. He is avoiding a lot of the early flak.
Yeah, by the time he gets in, everybody's basically dead already, so it's kind of helping him out a bit here. Buy again for Sangal. That's good. They got it picked up. And good amount of utility. Man, let's just see something wild. If I'm Sangal here, I just rush somewhere. I just play the most frustrating style. Just commit, try and force some awkward fights, do a lot of gimmicky stuff. Just figure out, can you get into the round at all?
Now, if you want to check out what's going on in the secondary stream, guys. Oh, here we go. Hold up a second. Not looking. And dead. Another opener. ASG versus Australis is live on Ancient. And if you're not familiar with some of the players over there on ASG, Waterballs and Sviat are the two names that you may have seen. Now, some kills back.
Oh, chance here. Shiro fends off his teammates. Inters was about to go down there, but Shiro makes sure that he stays immortal. Chugak's now the only player left, and he's coming back through mid. He's got a weapon somewhere. He's got an AK on his back here. He's just going to save it. Yeah, I mean, all up there as well. So he's got the pickings, the spoils of war, but that was somewhat competitive in the mid-round. Nearly gets a couple of kills there, Chad. So it's a small positive. But I think at least they'll have time for lunch soon.
What's the time? It's almost 3 p.m. local here. So maybe a bit of a late lunch situation going on.
Maybe some dinner. Get to bed early, prep for your next game. I mean, we do. We will see Sangal compete more, obviously, with the Swiss system. The low seeds will play against the high seeds in the opening game, and you will get blowouts. It just happens, and this is how it should happen. And this is what we kind of want to see happen as well, in terms of we want to see players show a good face, and you don't want to see the better teams drop the ball. So, good start. This is what should happen. But Sangal, if you're a fan of this team and you're a fan of these players, obviously you're going to be a bit frustrated with the fact that you don't have your full roster out there, but they will have opportunities in some of the weaker games to play against some of the smaller teams. So we'll compete. And this was that chance to take down Inters. They didn't quite get it done. So Buy is consistent here with the loss bonus, the save weapons. They keep carrying over. And eventually, hopefully, they can do something about it. But quick play here for players through Monster. It's called a rush B. It's Chugaks running in. The barrel swing out, coming through for Chugaks. He gets cleared out by Nathany. And QB back into reply.
Oh, here we go.
This is starting to look
a man advantage here.
Yeah, looking good. Sangal have the advantage. Can they close it? Inters was about to have a fight and then peeled away just as the peak was about to come around.
Okay, well, they should lock this one down, surely. They've got 2 players on the B bomb site, the third up towards the heaven with the AWP, and the rotation back available from A at any given moment here, but stalling this out, starting to take some time off the clock. They're actually starting to play a bit more of a retake setup on this B bomb site, so Inters might get a little bit of room to work with here. They've had very well-placed flashes. The Uto on Shiro is what is going to be used to enable them. And, well, don't worry, it's not on Shiro anymore. He's actually going to throw that across to Axar, who's now been given the bag. In comes Inters, taking the space. The smoke towards heaven, the flash coming through.
Inters swings into the side, no one yet spotted. Commitment to the bomb plant, quite a passive setup, buying some time for the rotation to come down, so they have significant numbers for the attempt. And Axel goes over the top. It's just one for Axel. Scrum gets rid of him. Inters playing in and around the smoke, and he's finally died. The first death here for Inters.
Should be the round 2 here.
Perhaps the first round. Shiro left in the clutch. Now, he is the clutch king.
It's an AWP, though, and they have a kit.
And, yeah, that's the problem. They tap, they stick, they hold, they body block, they want the round, and they've got it. They survived the 16-0. I can say it now, Chad. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, you can see him celebrating about that as well. So it's great not to get pantsed here. You never want a copper 16-0 loss, and that has now been avoided. So really good stuff here to get on the board and converting a number advantage situation. The first round, it looked like Sangal can win. They win. So that's really good. They're going to bring out the double AWP setup. Skrunk's going to be into one along Sensei. And let's see, have they just enraged the beast? Have they just upset players now by winning a single round, and now we just go back to the stomp? Or do we actually get a bit more of a competitive tail end of half number 1?
Well, desolation of Smaug, they wake up the dragon, and the Hobbit wins. So, Chad, that's how that story goes. But we got a quick play here forward from Axel. Up through short, he now peeks down into short, and Scrunk, good opening.
Oh, here we go, starting to get a bit of traction in this now. Still an 11-4 half possible here. Switch little nade, lopped on out. That's gonna at least try and repel Scrunk from any more information. But he's got a teammate, he's got a buddy. They're happy to hang around there. Happy to stay in limbo here towards this sandbag position. Creeping up long is Hobbit. And those bullets are definitely going to give away that players are still residing in this a bit more upfront and personal scenario on B. Right-hand side of Monster, you can see here, Tugux is sitting and waiting. But regrouping now are players over towards the B bomb site. At least the bomb on the back of Shiro is now going to join the side of Nafany. Do they want to try and activate Hobbit here? Because he will have to go around that long corner to deal with Corey.
Well, Nafany goes through, and ooh, the setup is great there. Tugux passes the test of flying colors, and players down to 3 players across the board. Hobbit able to pull one back. Not lost out, but they're so separated, and Hobbit gets caught with utility. So they're split up here. They're not playing as the team, and that is giving chances to Sangal to win these individual fights.
Well, back towards A they go. Just know that's the AWP on site, so if they're able to slip his guys and get their way up close and personal, Inters could rip this one away. Shiro can then follow through with some nades, but they have to be quick. 20 seconds remaining right now. Here's the flash to facilitate. Sensei should be very blind.
Yes, he's just got flashed so many times, but he has actually got back too long before they've seen him, so he can re-peek out. And Shiro now in a 1v4, 7 seconds hiding, saving, and hoping he can get away with this one, and he should be able to do so. Although he's made a lot of noise, and Sensei now hunting him, trying to drop him, and it will after the time, but a lot of money for the players, so no real qualms about that. But 2 rounds now for Sangal.
They're getting real excited about it, right? And I think the thing here is they understand that they were just getting battered, but anything that they can salvage now, he's looking good, showing off, he's rapping, having a good time.
Yeah, Sangal number 1.
Things should get easier for them from here, right? And maybe Soulfly will be able to make it. I feel that's optimistic of me, but you never know.
Yes, well, you want to try and stay alive as long as possible in contention to get him out here. Sure, very frustrating experience for him not being here and limited opportunities, but Sensei starting to come into his own. Got a bit of personality, got a bit of flair, and now a couple of kills being added to the tally too.
These opening kills from the AWPs have been nice, and let's see if they can continue that, because you mentioned players being strung out quite individually, so maybe, just maybe, they've all found a similar approach here. Middle throw, smoke, front bathrooms, and a jump peek. See what's going on towards that divider position. Nafany with a little bit of hang time there. And regrouping back towards long will be Scrunk on this AWP. Very, very cautious on the clears of the corners. Knows that they could be lying in wait. Tree now clear. Continuing forward to the rock at range. And just picks on out. Grabs another kill. No trade possible here unless he gives one over. The re-peek was brave.
Brave, yes. Flash goes around long. He's going to stay and might even just take out this tight angle. So if they extend around the corner, he is actually in a pretty good position to take them out. So a good start again here for Sangal. You said 4 rounds and a half is available. I tend to not believe that was possible, but no, I absolutely am. So Scrunk getting aggressive. Oh, Axel over the flower bed from a 5 versus 3 to a 3v3 in the blink of an eye.
And they're so far away on this rotation. They were battening down the hatches for a monster play. All 3 of them tucked around the pillar and deep within the monster canal, but they're rotating back for the retake.
And Axel playing close towards Bank. If they come back up into his crosshair, Axel, you've got to favour him in the position to beat out the AWP. Sensei's barrel, the timing. Oh, it works out. Axel's going away. Just focus and stairway. That gives a chance, but Shiro, the clutch king. Can he pull it off this time? This shot from Shiro. QB brings him down. And a little bit of life now for Sangal.
Yeah, well, this is looking likely now to be at least the 4 consecutive required. The defuse is going to come in, the double AWPs retained, and if they can keep finding these openings with the AWPs, they look like they're having fun. Now they're starting to believe that they can go toe-to-toe, take a couple of fights, because in the early stages of this, in that 11-round spread, they were just getting destroyed. It didn't look close at all. There wasn't anything to get excited about, but now they're at least giving us some hope, giving us something to believe in.
(11-3). Yeah, so I'm glad. I was hoping that we would see something out of Sangal. Now, you don't want to come into your opening match on LAN and just get 16-0. That's never the goal. So, good to see Sensei getting some confidence. He seems to have a good personality about him, and hopefully we can see a bit more of that throughout this competition. 4th round and a pistol in the 2nd. Maybe you've got something going here for a respectable enough scoreline out of Sangal. But as you mentioned earlier, Chad, you take an 11 key rounds here for players. You're still just in a perfect position to close out the game, but it's just a bit of competition, hopefully, throughout some of these patchy rounds.
Yeah, and I think here for Sangal, it's about warming into maybe some of their later matches in this. For players, it's about making sure that you're on point so they can get the 3-0 done. Now that you've seen G2 fall, you know that there's going to be potentially some easier matches as this corner aggressor stepping on out, trade after trade, and multiple bodies hit the deck right there. Shiro and Nafany lighting up the scoreboard. Corey, though, with the AWP will take down one and have stalled this out as the press towards A has been slowed.
Oh, Corey going into the fight versus Inter is not ready for him to be at the flower bed. Doesn't even consider that option because he had believed they had fully rotated down perhaps to B. And Skrunk is going forward to get this info.
But Hobbit has the bomb.
Yep.
So he needs to get past this. If Hobbit goes down, the bomb is going to be in connector. Not a difficult position to hold by any
he's going into them. Oh, separates it into the 1v1. That's a good kill on Chugux, and look how quick the decision is for Hobbit to get out of there. The last remaining player is Skrunk. He's coming up the connector quickly, turning. Hobbit still finds it. 12-3 half for players.
Yeah, just going through the paces here. Dry running live on everybody's screens. 4 rounds required. The pistol, the conversions, it'll be done and dusted. But I think that, as you mentioned, Sangal are happy just not to get 16-0'd in this entire environment.
They actually look so happy right now. They just look like they're soaking up the experience.
I think you have to be realistic when you have your coach standing in as well, and you know that this is the big territory. Like you may as well try and keep the mood up, right? Because if you're gonna think that you're gonna think with the coach standing in, you were gonna take it to players. You maybe you want to have that winning attitude, but you may be not being considerate of the situation, right? So it's just something to consider in that regard.
We did see some teams expressing frustration against getting battered by some of the best teams in the world. So yeah, it's a nice approach here.
And then Eternal Fire made it. So you know, maybe just maybe. But smoke's being lined up over towards B. It looks like a heaven one here from Sensei. They got a molly for barrels. That team flash is into the face of Inter, so they are coming.
They are barreling forward. Perhaps they can get the pick, but no way. This is an awkward pistol. Disgusting. In fact, Inter's and Hobbit all go down. It's so clean for Sangal. Everybody goes the way of Sangal. And Axel coming in from heaven. Sangal found the pistol. Another round added to the tally. Axel with 1. How many can he get here? That is the question. There's a player down below him. And he's worried about that flank now too. See, Axel's not winning this round, but just trying to do as much as he can on the way out.
Yeah, see if he can hold on to this armor. Now he did take some damage, right? The armor's been chipped down to 93, so we won't get the cheap upgrade into the head armor. But at least to be able to force buy around this if that's what the call is so desired. Corey wants a 4th in the round. He's going to run to his demise. And Tsugux here coming on in to feed another $300 in the way of Axel.
Thank you very much. 18-9 now for Axel.
And that does a lot because right now he can buy an M4. If Axel has the silenced M4 and he can buy an M4 and already has Kevlar. So probably should be considering a force buy here, players. Get a scout into the hands of Shiro. That's definitely affordable for him. Shiro's just, Nafany's just disconnected from the server. We'll get him back in a minute. Just a bit of a technical timeout. Now, if you want to check in on what's going on the secondary stream, you can head over to YouTube, type in PGL, find the live broadcast. You can watch it in 4K. But twitch.tv/PGL_CSGO if you want to see what's going on between Astralis and ASG. That scoreline is currently 8-3 on Ancient. I think he's being told shh because
it's a technical pause.
During the text, you're not allowed. And
it's got the rock paper scissors.
Or the scissors paper rock.
And he's staring at me. I'm winning this staring contest actually. He's got the forest vibe going on here, hasn't he?
He's doing the rock's eyebrow.
Yeah.
The people's eyebrow. Can you smell what the rock is cooking?
I'd love the Rock to intro the major final teams or something. I watched that at Super Bowl, dude. He's so good at it.
I don't know if we got enough money.
I think he probably would charge more than the prize pool.
Yeah, we might need someone a bit closer to Counter-Strike, a Counter-Strike fan.
We got Moses. He's bald and he's American. We could get him to do it.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Jason's not the Rock. Maybe who else could we get? Who's a Counter-Strike fan? Who's I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm having a hard time. I think the Brazilians might be able to get Neymar, but I don't think.
I don't think you're bringing.
Is the football season on at the moment?
Yeah, it's always on, Chad. It's always a football match on, isn't there? I think in the summers when they're off. But, I mean, we could probably get someone cool. I think there's a couple of players now. I think Casemiro had a team when we were in this America's RMR too. So, couple of big stars coming in. Who's the most famous person you've ever met, Chad?
Back when I was in the Championship Gaming Series in 2008, the season kickoff was a bit of a party with C-grade Disney celebrities.
Wow.
And Kim Kardashian was there before she got famous.
Wow, okay. That's cool.
So Kimmy K.
How was that?
She was playing Forza on stage.
That's just so mental.
It was, yeah, Direct TV. I don't even know if the VOD still exists, but you guys
so
want a piece
mental.
of history? That's part of it. Now, Axel has gotten into this Silence Den Fort. They have 4 Sport. Shiro hasn't gone for the Scout, though. Now, let's see what he can do with the $700 hand cannon.
Well, Axel just doing spikes. Oh, dead. Corey just decapitates him, shreds a hole right through his face, and Axel out of the round. Players down to 4 players already.
And a nice little upgrade available here. So if Tugux wants to come back over here, he can grab himself an M4. Skrunk's going to scoop that one up. Going to make sure it is out of the remit right now of players to scoop back up. And Tugux is happy to hear he's in the connector, wants to clear this one out with the Mackie 10. Just make sure that these close angles he can deal with and maybe find himself a little bit of extra cash money. But at this juncture, it looks like players are gamble stacking B. So if the hit does come in towards A, it might just be the save and have a double dip of this in the next round. They are donating the rifles over the wall right there. So you saw them just lobbing that away so it cannot be found whatsoever. And the B stack, well, that's been called off. Over towards A they go. Now, there is one way that this goes wrong. Inters has a flash. If Inters is able to throw this at the perfect moment, these pesky pistols can get stuck in.
You never want to see a round end like this for Sangal if it gets chaotic and crazy for players to take them down with pistols. I'm going to start walking their way up towards the site.
Hubbart's got a flash as well here, but I don't think they're going to use the flashes.
It feels like they're just going to sit back on the site, let Hobbit trying to draw the attention. Now they move forward beyond the smokes and get in the mids. This could be chaotic. 10 seconds left. Sangal go into the pistols. Hobbit has taken 1 and 2, knocking them down. Finally, the kills come in, and the plant will come through for Sangal. It is still Shiro alive and kicking in the back. But with a Deke in hand, no kit on his back, Shiro will get taken out. And a 5th round for Sangal. Definitely was a chance there for the players. But a 5th round for Sangal. They're really getting to a point where they can make this scoreline look a bit more respectable on paper. We'll see if players resist in this round. There isn't going to be too much available because they 4-spot into the last. So should be 6 rounds for Sangal.
Yeah, very much so. I'm surprised there wasn't like a flash and go setup there that was provided. I think they were expecting a walk in. It just took so long before that util came over the wall. They did keep it very, very late, did Sangal. There was a lot of room for error in a round like that, but I think for players, maybe they were considering as they're sitting there waiting, maybe it will be B. You know, where's this hit? Is it coming? And well, it did eventually, as we got a bit of a tank set up here. P250 in the hands of Inters, seeing how much they can do. And Axel immediately takes down Skrunk, but think about how much info Skrunk just got. That's going to send the rest of the team hightailing it in towards the B bomb site. The bomb will get planted, the 40 seconds will get thrust onto the clock, and now it's just about how much more can these pistols do in the damage department, because the round, very, very difficult to win. I would say almost impossible for players to pick this one up, even with a number advantage.
This is one you just throw into the wind. Watch it blow away. Sensei. The 8K is good. And Sangal will take 6 rounds. And the punishment beating could continue as we get into the next round. That is the one thing I worry about, is if that just immediately happens. Because players are now going to get some weapons on the ground, actually. Might get away with that AK too. Well, I'll happily take that on the way out the round. And Axel does fall, but Shiro gets the AK over, so that's good. That's on the CT side for the side of players. And now 4 away from victory. So we'll see if this buy round can net them that.
I think here, if I was players, I wouldn't mind taking a timeout, or if I was Groove, I wouldn't mind calling the timeout here. Just to say, like, listen, boys, like, we started so strong. Let's just close this now. Let's be done with this silly business, right? Because the fact that they were able to get themselves so many rounds in that first half, before it gets out of control like you're talking about, it would be a good time to have that chat. Maybe in the next gun round if they don't convert this one. It's still pretty early days. They're on the easier side of the 2. Nade rains on through. Is going to chunk Sensei down to 33 points of health. So he's taken so much flak damage there. Fortunately on the AWP. So not really going to be the end of the world in that regard. But a stray bullet from the M4 see him done and dusted. Scrunk swings the door open. QB will actually get the kill at the Hobbit now, and a number advantage again for Sangal.
Players coming to a bit of a halt here. Hobbit is 13 and 11, so it's been pretty equal trading for him, and Nate goes down onto Scrunk. The nade damage has been great here for players in this round. They're close to a kill, but haven't got it just yet. But looks like Sangal getting ready to go into B. Resmoke to Monsters just come in here for players. Inter's plays in front of it. 55 seconds left on the timer. Oh, they're actually rotating away from B.
Yeah, Axel can re-smoke Monster. If he gets that down now, it is going to be well timed here. They're starting to creep through. They might go. Yes, they will.
They're going. Okay, Inter's pressure's on you to hold this. Flash is going to be set up for Axel, but let's keep eyes on Inter's right here. We got to see how he holds this one. Shiro's come in to help him out, but Inter's plays from position at Water Pit. They push in towards his crosshair. It's a single kill for Inter's. Nafany getting the drop done, but it's taking some time, and so that rotate from players has been able to come through. And Nafany here's the tap. The bomb hasn't gone down, but he swings wide, and QB takes him out. Shiro from heaven, good pick, down drops down. Axel just rattling some shots, looking to do some chip damage, but Shiro caught by the AWP on the other side of things. Scrunk and Sensei were the players that took initial damage. The Shadow allows Axel to start to pre-fire, and he's dropped down into the site.
It's Kit in front of him, I think.
Skrunk's moved forward, he's taken away position, his head's come down. Axel won't see him, and another round for Sangal taken in the gun rounds.
That's probably the best round they've won so far. That's a massive round to win right there. They had to trade. I was highly contested on the site. It was well handled there for that final frag. Beautiful stuff. Actually, very good round, all things considered. They get the opening kill and they don't falter. So starting to look like they have an opportunity in this now, as players will be, taking a bit of a risk. Shiro into an AWP. The rest are just going to go for some pistol upgrades. Might be starting to get a little bit worried now over there on players. I know it's still a 5-round game, but still, this is Sangal starting to heat into things. What should have been a walk in the park, what was a walk in the park, and well, what is a kill in the park right now? Shiro's kicked things off. He's staying tall, standing tall with the AWP. The second shot doesn't land. More pressure on his plate. They're coming.
He was holding to see if they would quickly charge after him, but they have sort of slowed that play. And Shiro, gets around. They spotted him. He's going to jump. He's still going to fight this. You're wild, Shiro. He realizes he has to make the AWP sing, and so is singing a beautiful song. A song of death.
Okay, well, this is where we've seen Sangal struggle. This is more of how it went in the first half, right? When they were just picked apart, they would lose multiple kills, and then it was harder for them to get into the action of the game, and now they have to sit on their haunches in a 3-on-5. Now, fortunately for them, it is pistols, but unfortunately for them, Axel's pushing through connector. He's calling this one clear. Still just Shiro on the site right now, but the indecision of... Oh, okay. Maybe not just on the site right now. They've completely foregone any of the action on A. If Axel goes to clear B, he's going to waste a lot of time during all of this. There's an AK for him to scoop on up. Nafany calling it clear, and QB is actually playing a very passive angle here, so I don't think Axel would clear this. He might see the barrel if he's... Oh, the timing. The timing for Axel. He didn't see him. He didn't see him on the flick pass. Neither of them. Oh, the leg's been spotted now, and this should be another frag. Axel taking his time, getting all the information, and executes. 2 players into the site, sure, but now they have to defend against 4.
Oh, wallbind from Scrunk has landed onto Shiro. Scrunk gets aggressive, needed that kill, and will get it. The flick up, but Scrunk in the clutch. 10 seconds, Inter closes, and 13 rounds for players. Starts well off the back of Shiro's 2 picks, and I love the repeat. I love when he goes long and just shoots through the stone. Oh, that's what you got when you got Shiro on the team, and you realize players have that capability.
Yeah, and not just turtling up in a 4-on-5 number advantage, wanting to make it a little bit more with Shiro, and understandably so. It was the weapon, it was the hero in the round, and yeah, that hero in purchase has paid off in a big way. They do get their first CT-sided round on the board right now, and it also has economical ramifications. AWP for Sensei, pistols for 3, and QB into a Galil. Now they need this one back here if they want to try and continue this score line. Skrunk's quick. Skrunk's down.
Once again, Sangal give it a difficult start in this round. Sensei, I thought he was about to have the jump there on Shiro, but Shiro's so damn quick, he's able to react in time. And Shiro now goes back into the middle. Easy pickings here. Sangal 1 by 1, not together. Shiro happily collecting them each in tow. QB and Chugux And they're going to surely meet the same fate. Shiro just changed his position time and time again. X-ray off to give us the vision of Shiro. And Chugux gets chewed up and spat out. Axel sees the bomb, realizes QB can't have gone far, tracks him into the corner, executes him. 14 rounds for players, 2 away from victory in their opening best of 1 here in Bucharest. Blame's
having a field day over there on Ancient right now. In that first half, I think he had 23 kills in total. He just absolutely gone bonkers over there. It's a 12-4 scoreline right now for Astralis versus ASG. And if you're wondering what's coming next on the main card, it is going to be Copenhagen Flames taking on Sprout. And last time at the Major, that's where Copenhagen Flames really made a name for themselves. See if they can pick up where they left off, going toe-to-toe against Sprout, who also have a stand-in of their coach, Berry, who will be hitting the server later today. It's going to be interesting to see as well what these matchups are starting to look at. You can use that, what is it, major.ieb.
Yeah. That's the one.
I forget the final.
Just type in major IEP and it comes up. It's like the first one. So you can figure out all the matchups that will continue throughout this stage of the competition. You got it up, Chad?
I'm getting there. We're getting there. And what are we? Group B. We've had Anonymo beat G2. We've had NIP beat Endpoint. We've had Bad News Eagles over Entropic. We've had Sinners over Heat. We still have Ents versus Spirit. We have Astralis versus ASG. Copenhagen Flames to take on Sprout. So let's just say the favorites win those matches, shall we? Might end up with a Players versus Anonymo. Could have a NIP versus Bad News Eagles. That would be quite the game to watch, I think.
Tell us about the losers matchups.
G2 versus Sangal. This is obviously if all the favorites win, guys. Don't take this as gospel. Do not quote me on what I'm saying right now. Endpoint versus Entropic. Heat versus Sprout. Spirit versus ASG. That would be the 0-1s.
Yeah, lots to be decided still. And Shiro looks to have a decisive round. Sensei. And taken out by Axel will be Chugux QB, and Nafni's decided he wants to come up and stop the attack forward too. As 15 rounds now ring out 4 players. I think that might be, you hear that? The death bells tolling for Sangal here on Overpass. But I think given the personality we've seen throughout this one, I think Sangal won't be too destroyed by this one. I think they kind of expected this, as you should. Opening your game versus players, they realize this is an experience. For a lot of people, this competition isn't the major qualifier. That just is the reality, right? To a lot of teams, it's experience. It's also a big competition with a relatively large prize pool and experience against some of the top teams in the world. So, I mean, you got to look at it on 2 sides. For players, this is a situation where they want to hit the major. For Sangal, it's experience and see how deep they can go. And they've got the rifles out here.
Especially with the stand-in situation as well, right? So it's a good opportunity for some of these individuals to put themselves in the shop window, show what they've got. They're having some fun with it, showing some flair, showing some personality. And as we do get into a bit of a default spread here, already some damage done to Corey. QB's up close towards the sandbag position. Shiro's AWP posted up in towards connector as well. So a bit of a forward stance from Shiro here. Has a chance, is flash. Does get the leg though, so Scrunt is going to be scared to take that fight. But Tugux has got 1 and traded. Has done his job there, did punish Shiro.
Now recovered the spray. Although the trade is good, and Axel goes again.
Oh,
flash. Oh, so good. It's perfect from Nafni to allow Axel out for the swing. Under a minute now left in this clock, and Sangal seeing what they can find towards the end of this. The final push forward. The resistance, will it be there? Corey's headshot is good onto Inters. 3v3 again, but look how damaged they are. They're damaged goods right now. They're a fragile package as they move into the site. Axel's coming from heaven, and he doesn't care.
Oh.
It's an easy kill there for Nafni to the head somehow. Into the mix, and Corey left in a 1 versus 3. It is just a mere moments away from players locking in their first win.
Yeah, and tidy stuff as well. That first half, 12-3 on the T side. This map never felt in doubt. It's good to see Sangal not give up hope and not just roll over and die. They continue to put up a fight here. Last man standing, Corey would love to get away with the cheeky 1-on-3 situation, but passive positions, and that'll be it. Axel to pick up the kill, and I think the celebrations here of Gambit are going to tell you everything that you're looking for here. Sorry, players, mind you. There's not going to be too much of a celebration. It's just taking care of business, getting it done, getting it across the line. And, oh, there's some smiles on the faces.
Yes, they're happy to be here.
That's what we're looking for, some smiles.
Yes, well, the headsets come off delicately, the hand.
Delicate high fives.
Yes, they don't want to break those little wrists. You know, you can't break them. They're very, very important.
be gentle to one another here. But good stuff on one side and the best that they could boast on the other. As we can see, it still looks like a bit of a jovial atmosphere. Shouldn't be upset. Going up against players, one of the better teams in the world right now with their coach to stand in, you wouldn't be expecting them to pick up a victory. But more unexpected things have happened, haven't they? We've had some upsets already today.
Looking at the player count, you would think that Sangal actually won this matchup. They're just so happy to be here. It's great to see that. The spirit of Counter-Strike flowing through them. Sensei giving us a great bit of entertainment throughout this one. But well, he'll be away for a little while. Now they get down to the loser side of things.
Yeah, 0-1 column. 0-1 column indeed. The 1-0 column. We still have a couple more matches. I think that Australia's looking to pick that one up against ASG and should be done and dusted with that one pretty soon. They had a commanding first half. But as you go through the highlights here, you just see that score line of players continue to get closer and closer to the double digits. It was 11 on the trot here before any resistance was posted.
They just kept going, really, for players. The real storyline, the only storyline to follow, was whether or not interest was going to die, whether or not there was a round to be picked up. But Sangal managed to get 7. We've seen this attempt many times for Shiro. Eventually did get his reward from the triple boost up on top. And yeah, a little bit of resistance here for Sangal, but as you would expect, players taking the win. Now we can focus on to maybe some of their main opponents in this event, and you would definitely say they are NIP. You would say G2. NIP get their win today. G2 did not. Players putting themselves in a good position now to maybe even go ahead, get that legend spot. You're taking the first spot away. Some of your opponents have dropped the ball already. So I know that's still a little bit off, but you've done what you need.
There's 3 legend spots available in this group, whereas in the previous one we had 4, and that was because of the teams in the previous major who had made it to the top 8, right? And obviously Fury over there in the Americas getting the 1 spot for that side of things too. But you want to get a legend spot. It's going to skip an entire week of play, an entire Swiss round that we're seeing right now again, and it'll just set you up where you can watch the opponents and come into things in that legend stage ready and raring to go.
Well, we've wrapped things up. Players take their first win here in Bucharest. I think Maui is over there having some fun with the Copenhagen Flames guys. So we're going to check in with those guys and see how that one matches up.
Hey guys, I'm Maui Snake here at the PGL RMR Group B, and joining me are Nikodas and Roy, both from Copenhagen Flames.